Hello everyone, welcome to Railway Cottage Studio. This is Karen, and today I am starting the very first part of my new project for 2026. This is the altered journal slash junk journal of the Railway Cottage Anthology, easy for me to say. And so the first prompt and the first thing that I'm going to be doing for this is going to be the cover. And the prompt for that is garden gate. So for this project, I'm going to imagine working my way through a beautiful old vintage railway cottage, still operational, and the first part of that is going to be opening the garden gate and stepping through. So that's what the cover is going to represent. So I've had a bit of a play around in my room just to see what I have, and I've done a bit of sketch, just very basic sketching about what I want it to look like. And so my cover is going to have a garden gate, a picket fenced gate and an arbour, and then I've collected a few little bits and pieces that I'm going to attach. Got a couple little bird houses to see what I would like, and I had these little guys that I bought ages ago, so they're going to find a place. A couple of terracotta buttons, some little pots that were given to me. They're like little beads, but they look like little pots. And I have Angus. Now, I've decided that this project is going to be Angus's home. So there's two parts to this project. There's the journal version and then there's the fabric slow stitch version. So I'm going to make it so that he can live in both of those places. So how he's going to go into the cover will come back to me, but the sort of brainstorming that I did was seed packets, lots of vintage florals like you would imagine in a cottage garden, the white fence pickets, bird bath, bird house, and then I'm going to do a little trug. I have this little basket, but I think I need something a bit flatter, so we'll see. I might have to make that a little timber trug that's got maybe a couple of pots and some gloves and my little garden implements in it, some things tied up with garden twine, a watering can maybe, and an apron. And then of course the gate's going to open and you're going to see a beautiful cottage garden. So that's just my ideas. I have brainstormed a bit of a colour palette for this, and they're kind of my normal colour palette, which is, I've got 3 browns on there. Who would have thunk it? I do have some blue, some green, and there will be a red. So these are the 2 books that I have dug out of my stash of stuff that I've collected. This is one that I picked up ages ago, and I picked it up, it was only a couple of bucks because it has all of these pages which can be torn out and used for journaling. But then at the back, obviously it is dated, but we don't worry about that. In the back it's got a whole heap of, first of all, wildlife, and then it has all this bicentennial stuff, imagery and all sorts of stuff about the history of Australia. So today though, all of this is coming out because I'm going to use the cover. So I have my trusty Stanley knife and I'm simply going to remove it like that. And obviously these pages will be kept because they will be very, very useful for me. This is the right size for me. It's basically A4. I need a bit of room. So just literally cutting out the cover and lifting that whole thing out. So I'll pop that away. So that's going to be my cover. I will have to expand this side seam. Where's my brain gone? Because obviously that's not going to hold everything, I don't think. And this little guy, isn't this funny? Look at this. This was from Erskine Church Sunday School, presented to Isa Mackey for regular attendance in 1945. So obviously I'm going to keep that. Imagine if you gave this to a child today. Our values have changed. So it's yellow, which is interesting. I am going to cut this out though, because I just want, it's already done, look at that. Just want the cover. And I don't even know that I want, do I want both parts? Alright, so I printed some papers. These are some papers that I've downloaded online, just some cottage garden-y sort of papers. So today I'm going to basically set up the background of my cottage garden gate. So I'm going to be working on the front cover, and I'm going to be doing lots of gluing. Let's you out flat. I'm sorry, that is a bit shiny, but I will cover that in a minute. So I'm going to put some papers on just so I've got something to work onto. These are papers that I bought on Etsy, and I will link below the lady whose site I bought these from. So I'm thinking this one. So I'm thinking that one. And I might just do some tearing. Let me just find my ruler. Where did I put my ruler? Now, I haven't jumped out for ages, so I've been really looking forward to. This is my original love, you know, scrapbooking and paper. So I'm going to do some getting rid of the white. We don't want the white. Let's just do it like that. That's my bone folder. I might just think about it. I might just stick that over the edge actually. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tear it off. So, welcome to part 1. I've made a start on the slow stitch, and they're not going to be exactly the same because otherwise I would get really bored. So it's been really exciting getting ready because different parts of my ideas will work in different mediums. So I'll put you here. I did just order some brand new inks from Tim Holtz as well, just to get me ready for some new journaling. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to overlay some of this. I might just do a ring with a tear. But like I said, this is going to be just getting everything ready to go in the background. I did think for a while about what I wanted the cover to be, whether I wanted the anthology, but I think perfect walking through the garden gate to enter is perfect. This one printed a bit wonky, but I don't think it will matter. Once I've torn him and he's on there. So these have just been printed on my home printer. So I only printed a few at a time. Go on there, yeah. I need him to be a bit bigger. And then you. Back to paper, that's nice. I might just tear him away from there so the white bit's on the other side. In there. There. Like that. And again, I'm just going to do some tearing. Straight lines aren't going to work. Nice. Some of him up there. Save my little bits because, you know, looks expensive. And then, what do I have on this one? No, I don't need any of that one. I'll just give that one a straight line from the bottom. And obviously when you're tearing, if you tear up, you're going to get the white, and if you tear down, you're going to get no white showing. So bear that in mind if you're tearing. So any book is good for this. You're not going to see the cover. My little book is going to kind of be wasted, but it's exactly the size that I want, and it's been sitting on my shelf for a long time, so it needs to be used. Right, so I'm just going to go down here, give myself a bit of a curve. Alright, So that is pretty much how I want it to be. Just going to give myself another little bit of this on, just like that. So we're going to glue all of them down, and then we're going to have a look at the little book and think about how I'm going to make that into an opening garden gate. And get some glue. It's just here, isn't it? So this cover's got lots of grip on it, so I'm just using my Bostik glue stick. Lots and lots of that to glue it down. And I'll be looking at doing some inking and aging once it's all together. Put you under actually. Just doing it right to the bendy bit there. Right here. I'm going to go and have to buy a couple of dozen glue sticks. Alrighty, so that just gives me a nice base to work on. Get rid of the light, I don't want him there. So I'm going to sit that down and let it dry. So I'm going to alternate. Each of my prompts that I'm giving myself is going to be 2 weeks, but then I'm going to alternate. 1 week's going to be slow stitching focus, and the next one's going to be a junk journaling focus. So that's that started. Just thinking that, what I want on the back cover, because I wonder if I can look at this whole thing as my front garden. Hold on while I get some more paper. As I said, I bought these from, let's see. And it was a beautiful set of, they've got wallpapers, don't they? Beautiful. Let's have a look. So as I said, I printed these at home. I don't think I want hibiscus, that's a bit too, and for some reason the yellow drew me. I don't want any of those little birdies. That's a bit dark. Some chinoiseries, and they're gorgeous. Look at that. Alright, that'll be it. So this is one of my colours, part of my colour palette as well. So let's do the back as well, so that, and if I decide to make the back part of a different prompt, I can just go over the top. That's fine. Those, let me just tear some of these off. So I probably haven't made a junk journal for a couple of years. I think the last one I made was for my daughter. She was having a green moment and wanted a green journal. So it's been a while. Been a bit preoccupied with all my slow stitching. Let me just do some of this guy. I could have done this before, couldn't I? So yes, imagine walking up into a vintage cottage. It's a railway, it's on the side of the railway line where the station master lives with his wife, and beautiful cottage garden, a little kitchen garden. Okay. And then as you move through each room in the house, you get to know them. So we're going to go through the kitchen and look at the cottage pantry papers. I think that's what I've called it. Imagine all the vintage recipes and things that you would find, and then we're going to move to her desk, which is underneath the window, which overlooks the railway line, and imagine her sitting there doing sewing or something along those lines. Just go. Let's go to there. I need a square bit along here. And again, this is going to be the background, so you'll see some of it, but it won't be a feature. So this spine will be removed. There's a word I couldn't find before. God, menopause is wonderful, isn't it? The spine will be removed, and I'm going to have to make it bigger and fatter than that. That is for sure. Let's go here. So this is just very easy, straightforward collage. Don't overthink it. Like I said, it's just to have some colour in the background. So you've got something to start with. I want to go into there. Missed a bit. Here we go. I want a little bit of this guy, I think. There we go. Alright, in the middle. What am I going to put there? I think maybe a bit of you. Done. Many years ago when I was doing scrapbooking, I remember some girls, ladies who worked in a scrapbooking shop said to me, "Your stuff just looks like old ladies' wallpaper." And I thought, fantastic, because that's what I'm going for. And doesn't that just look like old ladies' wallpaper? Always loved old ladies' wallpaper. In fact, the house we moved in here up here had the original flocked, fabulous chinoiserie wallpaper, but we just couldn't save it. It had been flooded. I would have resurrected it had I had the chance. Alrighty, so there is the cover. That is not glued down very well. There's my cover. Just checking we're all glued up to the corners. So this is going to be vintage. It's probably not going to be as grunge as some things that I do. Left a little hole there, look. But it will definitely be vintage. So tea-dyed and, you know, aged corners and things. So I have sandpaper, etc. ready. I think that I might, just thinking if I want to cut that out yet. I'll come back to that. So let's have a look at this guy now. So if this is going to be my garden behind my garden gate, and this is going to be my gate. Let me think about that. So I was tempted to get paddle pop sticks and make it, but I wanted to use what I have again. I don't happen to have any paddle pop sticks. Plus, that's all too new and boring. So let's just cut this guy up. Let's pop this over here to dry for a second. So I'm thinking that I want to cut it there. So I'm going to lift or is it going to stay? Okay, so this is going to be my garden gate. So I think I might give it a bit of a coat of some white to start with. It's going to be a white garden gate. So it's going to be a white picket fence, which is actually what I have. And it has a little Railway Cottage studio sign in the middle of it. So that's what I'm trying to recreate, as well as an arbor. So if you can imagine, the gate's going to be this size and the arbor is going to be that size. So that is a pretty good size on my page. There we go, yep. So I'm going to roll some lines. I'm going to do some cutting. So if I just line it up on my little mat behind, I can probably just go with that, I think, as long as I'm straight. So if I make each one of my pickets one of those, not sure what they are, they must be centimetres, are they? I'm so used to working in inches for quilting, which I don't know why they still work in inches for quilting in Australia, but we do. So my little picket fence. So I'm aiming to use what I have, like I said. I didn't have any vintage florally papers, so I have printed those. But everything else should come out of my little studio. 2026, we always do the first 3 months of the year are no spend, so it's good. It actually makes you be really creative. So not only do I need to do the picket fence, I also need, sorry, the gate, I need to do the little fence either side. So I'm going to make all of this into picket fences. And then we're going to give it a little coat of paint and let it dry-ish. Just thinking, do I have any white Versa ink? Or have I gone crooked? Well, it is what it is now. So that's the gate. I'm going to do, these are going to be the arbor things, which should be a little bit thicker. So that's my door creaking open and closing. So I'm going to do them 1.5 centimetres to there. 2. Oh, missed one, didn't I? Let's go to here. 1.5. 1.5. So obviously I've got to have the rail across the top as well. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I won't cut up any more of that in case I need it for some more picket fencing. So let me just grab a drink. So let's just see if this is going to work for me. I have a fairly new blade on here. I think it will. Let's score it all first. So, not sure how I'm going to join them yet, but that's the next problem to solve. That's good. I go back and score them all. They'll go through with two cuts, I think. Let's try it now. Oops. Stay in the same groove would be good. Oh, would this be good to bend, make a bendy thing? Just going to need to use a bit of muscle, hey? So score it and then do the next one freehand, just obviously the key. I am at my standing desk. It would probably be better to put this at a low desk to get a bit more leverage, but it hurts my neck, so I tend to stay here. So I think my gate is probably going to be about 9 of these, so I just have to put something in front of my door to stop it slamming again. Alright. Done. Let's have a look size-wise. So I'm just thinking it might be easier to cut these across the bottom while they are... Okay. You see my idea? And I like this book because of the texture. That's why I chose it. Can you see the texture? Like when that's painted, that's going to look like timber. So I think they probably need to be about, let's go to there, that size. So I'm going to score along the side. Now, which one did I mark? This one. I do have some beautiful old papers that I'm looking forward to using for this. So this would just be a lot easier than trying to do it once they're little. Sorry, I'm making you wobble a bit. Let's get this done. Sorry if that's shaking my camera. Oops, better. Let's score them all now. So the bottom part of this, which is already done, which looks good, is going to be the bottom of the picket fence, and then I need to put points on them, which I might be able to do with my good scissors, I think. Speed this bit up, I think, if you're bored. More bit of a bend. Let's go back. Might do them all one way and then all the other. Did you ever get lines as a kid or spelling and you used to do it like that? Put all the L's and all the T's and go in there, yeah. It's not coming willingly, that's for sure. But that's because it's got fabric on the cover, which is actually what I need. So it's worth putting the time in, hey. Okay, done. So I think I might actually construct this as if it were a gate, which means I'll put just some crossbars using the same material. So some skinny ones crosswise, probably a Z shape. That tends to be what a picket gate looks like behind. You know, there's two parallel and then one on an angle. We're very much a working families fence. Right, let's have a little look. Where are we up to? 1, 2, 3. Trim these ones down. So I'm going to get my fence painted and then leave it to dry, then pop one over to Mum's. See her. Take a few little things to show her. Very lucky because my mum and I share so many interests. I mean, most of my interests are because of my mum. My mum is a gardener and she is an incredible quilter. She's going to be the most beautiful quilt for my birthday that I will share in one of my show and tells. I'm going to cut that. What do you reckon? There you go. That's a lot easier. So let's see how much I need. Put my book down. So my picket fence is going to be my picket gate. 1, 2. Let's just line it up on there. You know when you have an idea in your head and you actually just can't work fast enough to make it happen? 4, 5. I think that might be wide enough. What do you think? And then the other bits of the fence are going to be here. The long bits are going to be standy uppy. All right.